The question before us is, how do we deal with this challenge that is deepening divisions and fueling polarization? In other words, how do we de-radicalize India?
Teachers of the country are yet to play their final role in bringing the required transformation that India needs today.
But at social level, I think we need to come out of the victim syndrome and do speak openly that there are people who support such kind of activities. We cannot just get away.
I think the time has come, rather I should put it that way, that all have to sit together, join their heads and hearts and see that how has this happened.
So as a community and as a nation, we need to stand together. We need to stand together and work against this terrorism.
And with no ifs and buts. You look at the Urdu media, which happens to be the Muslim media basically, right? And I can tell you hundreds of condemnations which go to PTI, go to UNI, which go to the English media and the Hindi media. Very little of it is published.
To discuss this, we have with us two distinguished scholars, Dr. Khwaja Iftikhar Ahmed Saab and Dr. Mobeen Zehra. Together, we will explore how Indian Muslims can position themselves in these testing times. Welcome to Awaz the Voice to both my guests. Sir, let me begin with a question that everybody seems to be asking. कि अब India का क्या होगा? How do you see the situation unfolding in our country?
Okay, coming to your first question, India का क्या होगा? India has a great future and a bright future. Challenges do come in the life of a nation. This is a challenge, and this is not a new challenge. Our institutions, our governance, our media, and our civil society, by and large, we own that much of internal emotional strength to face such eventualities. The first and foremost thing that we all need to do is stop talking in terms of Hindus and Muslims.
Right.
That's the first requirement, and that should be the first priority of everybody. The moment we start talking in these terms, we consciously, unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, we start serving the enemy.
Right.
And who is the enemy? The enemy is a very well-known enemy. Who is behind all this? And who are the perpetrators and who are the masters? And what is the level of connivance between the two?
Right.
Looking at the peace in the country for the last so many years, barring few exceptions here and there, it doesn't suit to those who do not want to see India progressing and becoming a superpower or a strong economic power or a stable political power with social cohesion and cohesiveness. This doesn't suit some powers in the world. Yes. And mostly to our neighbor Pakistan.
Yes.
So I cannot say that who exactly is responsible, but looking at the track record of the last so many years, and time and again, with our trials by different leaderships of our country, we have been betrayed time and again. So our first option goes to that side only. Right. So the future is bright, there is no doubt about it. And we as one community, when I use the word community, I mean Indian community. Sure. So we as a community have to stand solidly with each other, and togetherness is the answer to every such challenge.
Right.
That's my take.
Sure. Dr. Mobeen Zehra, recent revelations suggest a disturbing pattern. You see, some Muslim doctors are allegedly involved in these transnational terror activities. Do you think that this is a coincidence, or does it reflect a deeper malaise? And how do we reconcile this with the fact that such actions contradict the very principles of Islam?
First of all, I want to pay my condolences to the families who have lost their near ones and dear ones in this ghastly blast. Secondly, I would also want to speak here on behalf of all the sensitive hearts who are talking about this incident and who are immensely disturbed. I'm sure you will agree that we all are immensely disturbed with this incident. And like what Dr. Iftikhar said, very rightly said, that it's been a long time that such incident has happened. Now, terrorism at its basic level, the disturbing element, if you are talking about this particular incident, is that it has people assigned from the developments that our agencies have conducted, and the realities that have come up are very, very disturbing. There is a doctor involved. There are people who are academically sound. There is an academic institution that is involved. So yes, definitely there is something that there has been a change in the pattern. So technically now it's for the security agencies to look at it. But at social level, I think we need to come out of the victim syndrome and do speak openly that there are people who support such kind of activities. We cannot just get away by saying that there's just that one particular community is being victimized. Definitely, the religious people, the religious leaders have a great responsibility here to counter these kind of ideologies. Now, there are two things that I would like to sound here. Is that we are not going to sit back and assume that it's not our responsibility. It's the responsibility of every Indian citizen to look into this, to think about it, and to, like Khwaja Iftikhar said, he raised a very important point that we should have some kind of harmony. But along with that, we just cannot sit back and ignore. There's a woman involved. There's a woman involved, and there's families involved. There are doctors. Doctors are regarded as the epitome of God on earth. So this design is very dangerous when it comes to understanding of the module of terror. So there has to be an understanding. And I would again say that the responsibility of the community has increased. It's important for us to identify. I'll give a very small example, Atirji, that people who are peaceful, who talk about peace, who talk about social harmony, at micro level also, at times they do face some kind of violence and terror from their surrounding. So that itself speaks about the developments that are happening. But at the same time, there are people, irrespective of all these things, they are working for peace, they are working for coexistence. So this is not just a community issue. It is a community issue, but at the same time, it's an issue of social harmony. And also we need to look into our strategies to counter violence. And they just need to create terror. And this is a new terror design. So we have to deal with them with a new design of counter-terrorist strategy.
Yes. Sir, this Red Fort attack has shattered the sense of calm and security. And we have seen that people, both Hindus and Muslims, have been victims. They've died, their families shattered, nobody to take care of them. One of our reporters had visited Old Delhi, where a rickshaw puller, a battery-operated rickshaw driver had died. And he's survived by wife and two little children who are going to school.
And he was a lone earner.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really disturbing. But, sir, tell me that investigations suggest that the radicalization among Muslim youth is far more widespread than previously thought, because it has surfaced all of a sudden in the form of a pattern. How do this go unnoticed for a long time? That is also a question within the community and, in terms of the larger, monitoring.
I think what is most alarming in all this is the educated Muslim youth.
Right.
And their shift, of course, selective shift towards terrorism and indulging in such an incident. It's a very, very alarming situation for the community.
Sure.
Of course, for the country as well.
Right.
And this is high time not to take a position which is not clean, which is not transparent, and which is not a position where you are not specifically, with no ifs and buts, condemning this incident. Right. Second thing is that the community elders, and most specifically the religious leaders, the prominent religious figures, those who are working in the arena of interfaith harmony and interfaith dialogue, the civil society, the intellectuals, the academicians, everybody. Now it is time, I think the time has come, rather I should put it that way, that all have to sit together, join their heads and hearts and see that how has this happened? The second part of your question.
Sure.
How has the situation come to this point, and what has been wrong or what has been lacking at the community level, not to read the pulse of the time and the pulse of the developments which have finally evolved in such a situation where we had this incident of Red Fort, where innocent people were killed.
Absolutely.
And terrorism has again seen raising its head.
Of course.
So my point would be that instead of being apologetic, or instead of being too aggressive, in such situations when senses and sensitivities both have to be taken care of, rationality should prevail at all the levels, and we should sit down to take not only a position but also to sit down to determine a line of action which is seen on ground, accepting this challenge, and working out on the mechanism and the module how to meet this challenge.
Yes, we'll come back to that.
Please.
But Dr. Mobeen, that we have seen that this radicalization is no more confined to men. We've seen in this investigations that now even Muslim women are being drawn into extremist networks. The case of Dr. Shahina is one of the main suspects, being a clear example. How do you interpret this growing trend, radicalization among Muslim women as well?
But this is a very disturbing element. Now, having said that, there are one or two points that I think we should consider.
Sure.
The main thing is that if we are talking about women terrorists, we are also having Sofia Qureshi as an example.
Yes, of course. And there cannot be generalizations, as you rightly pointed out. You have Colonel Qureshi, and then we have examples like this. But Khwaja Sahab, we see that Indian Muslims, whenever such incidents happen, they mourn, they condemn the violence privately. Yet often they are hesitant to speak out publicly. What do you think explains this hesitation and psychological restraint?
I in principle, I don't agree with your question.
Yes.
There is at a very large scale condemnation, and with no ifs and buts. You look at the Urdu media, which happens to be the Muslim media basically, right? And I can tell you hundreds of condemnations which go to PTI, go to UNI, which go to the English media and the Hindi media. Very little of it is published.
They do not get attention.
They do not get the coverage, the kind of coverage they deserve, particularly at this point of time.
Yes, that's a very important point you're making.
So as far as the condemnation part is concerned, there is no dearth of it at all among the Muslims. And there is no hesitation also. Some people somewhere, maybe if 2 and 3 or 4 people may have some reservations for their own vested reasons and all that. But by and large, as far as the community is concerned, and the community elders are concerned, the major organizations are concerned, the prominent figures of the community are concerned, they are absolutely on one single page. You just mentioned about Kashmir. The turnaround in Kashmir.
Yes.
The peace and progress in Kashmir. The almost hijacking of terrorism in Kashmir.
Yes.
Bringing Kashmir and the Kashmiris back to the mainstream. Does it suit to the neighbor Pakistan?
No,
it doesn't suit at all.
Yes.
So the design or the module that she's talking about, I agree with that.
Dr. Mobeen, now each time these incidents occur, it's the ordinary Indian Muslims who face suspicion and mistrust for no fault of their own, and this affects their social, interactions and even employability.
Yes.
Now, what can be done to rebuild trust and restore confidence between communities that, all are not alike,
Atarji, I think this is a very relevant question. And why is it relevant? It's not just relevant in the present scenario. It's relevant, for example, if I just talk about this incident, in particular, the Kashmiris involved in this incident. So there is a sense of जिसको हम फिक्र का मकाम है कश्मीरी community में. There have been protests, candlelight protest, which was was not even expected ever.
Yes,
that change has happened, and I think I would not agree with this totally. I think there is a sense of logic and understanding in the community, in our country. What we are seeing after this incident, these are very one or two incidents, and I think even the Muslim community has understood this very well, and they are very responsible. And I personally believe that the Indian Muslim community should get more active in condemnation, should get more active. Aap dekhiye na, you just see that the people who have died, there is no religion. There is a Muslim e-rickshaw driver,
right.
There is a Muslim businessman, there is a Hindu business. So terror has no particular target. Terror targets humanity,
right.
And we need to rise above that. And like I said, religion is a very secondary thing. First of all, we are all Indians, and for us, our Indianness and we are ambassadors of peace throughout the world.
Yes.
Okay, this is land of Mahatma Gandhi. This is land of we just amalgamate anything that comes to us. We are not an ambassador of evil or any kind of terror. I think that kind of notion is very very secluded. It's not like that. It's only highlighted in some spaces to create problems, to create more confusion. But yes, having said that, I believe that the Kashmiri people should stand out. I should see more voices coming from there condemning this incident, and also it's important for them to see that why is this happening? Why are there some secluded youth who are succumbing to this kind of terror design? And also, there is an important message that the Muslim community, religious leaders, responsible intellectuals should be given. And Bharat it's a composition of all. I think that is the actual aim of the people who are trying to create terror. They want disturbance. They want inter-community fighting. They want violence. So we need not succumb to that. And I think our country, our leadership, our security agency, they are well equipped to tackle with that.
Right. Dr. Mobeen, there's another question I would like to ask you, because you are active and you're an academician.
Yes.
We have seen that some Muslim educational institutes, both in India and abroad, they appear to be influenced by extremist ideologies. Yes. We have seen this in this case as well.
Yes.
As an academic, what measures can be taken to counter this and promote critical, inclusive and progressive thinking among students?
This is very interesting, and I can only share what I do. I strongly condemn extremist views around me,
right.
Anywhere, everywhere, and I always see to it that it's identified and it is checked. Now, this is at my micro level. Now, let me talk to you about the macro level, at institute level. I am totally astonished that this person was sent out of a job in Kashmir, and he got a job here in Al-Falah University.
Right.
So there has to be extra checks, there has to be extra concern. Okay. Then at the same time, you have to be vocal within the community, within the institution. You don't have to think, if you have a minuscule also perception that this is a threat. It's very simple, Atir. Like
right.
I always say, hate hurts, and it doesn't hurt anybody selectively.
Right.
So as thinking mind, as intellectual, it is our duty to identify, to condemn that, and there's nothing. In fact, if you are not identifying, you're going to do this major fumble of making the entire community face that kind of backlash. So it's very important to identify such characters.
Right, but Dr. Mobi, the issue is that in campuses and higher educational institutes, students are encouraged to have divergent views. And under the garb of these divergent views, there are people like these, we have seen in the Red Fort attack, they are, sort of growing. Now that is the challenge for both the students and the teaching community and of course other authorities to sift through these, identify such people in time, maybe through their social media posts or their discourses or whatever they're doing in the campuses, and then, nip that in the bud.
Yes, I think that's a very important and a valid point that you have raised. I'll tell you one thing, Atarji, here, that as educationists, we are unbiased people. But at the same time, we are well equipped to identify. I mean, I know who is the student, how is the student going to perform.
Right.
So there has to be mechanisms, and I'm sure there are mechanisms.
Sure.
But this design that has happened, I don't know, I'm not a counter-terrorist strategist or anything, but yes, I can raise a question that yes, there should be understanding of, you just see that we know that this is the golden triangle, this is the drug module, the drugs kahan se aa rahi hai, kahan ja rahi hai, we know. So definitely there should be a check and understanding of certain modules that have come up in recent times, but that doesn't mean that the entire community or the entire
community, yes.
It's not like that. I'll give you a very good example. I have students coming from Kashmir. I interact with them, and with, like I already said, that with the change in the government concern, special concern for this,
very bright students.
Very bright students. They are so full of enthusiasm. They are so full of contributing, coming up. They are trying for UPSC. They are trying for government jobs. So now these kind of incidents, it blocks their entire
affects their morale
affects
also.
Their morale. So now who is the people who should speaking on this more? It's the Kashmiri community. I want Kashmiri education community to come up and talk to their student, to come up and counsel their student. So this is going to hinder. It's not going to hinder any student coming from Gujarat or Maharashtra. It's definitely going to hinder. There are going to be double checks for students who are coming for admission from Kashmir. It's going to create problem for them. Even if we don't want to talk about it, but yes, definitely it's going to create problem. So there has to be some kind of approach from the community itself, from the region itself, but that doesn't mean that we are going to, victimize them. As educational institutions, I am still, very disturbed that how this person got a job and he was running this module as the news is coming up.
Right.
And how could they get into this kind of profession? Doctors,
Yes.
How can doctors sell terror and terrorism? So this is a big question on the logic and the understanding of the agencies that have chosen them.
Totally.
So it's mere, I mean, if I am in my class, I am able to understand what kind of student is there in my class. So
Absolutely.
That understanding and that sensibility has to be there as an educator.
Yes, there's a need to be cautious,
Yes.
even among the academic community. Sir, this brings me to the larger question that, radicalization is not just confined to any single community.
Yes.
It is a worldwide phenomenon. India needs a collective awakening where people of all faiths introspect and work together to counter hate. Now, sir, you have been working in the field of interfaith harmony for a long time now. Now, what in your view is the way forward for a truly de-radicalized India?
See, the amount of groundwork required for interfaith understanding, that is badly lacking. There are thousands of organizations in all our communities, but on ground, I will not say we have failed, but I would definitely say we have not yet succeeded in bringing the necessary amount of change that our society needs on the front of social and societal harmony. I would agree with that. There are three parts that we have to be conscious of.
Right.
The government of the day has its own responsibility, be tough and rough with the situation and do whatever is required to be done to set things in motion. That's point one. Point number two is the civil society of India. It has got a very definite role, and where again all communities have to come together, and togetherness should be the basis of meeting this challenge. The third, which is most important for you and for me, I think, is that the interfaith understanding. We don't know even the minimum about each other. Arthur, even in 2025, I'm almost 70 now. Every year I hear from my friends, ये मीठी ईद है, ये बकरा ईद है. We as a community have failed to tell them this is not Bakra Eid, this is Bakra Eid.
Or perhaps
All right.
reach out to...
Yes.
Yes.
So, and likewise, how much we know about Sanatan traditions, the festivals.
Right.
We have our layers knowledge.
Very
We
limited.
don't, very limited knowledge. We don't have the minimum fundamental knowledge about each other.
Right.
So I would urge the state that until now, in our curriculum, particularly the school curriculum, this debate has been going on for the last 3-4 decades.
Yes.
That in the school curriculum, religious education, well, it was said we are a secular state, so we can't straight away go to religion. Fair enough. Then there was a talk that spirituality should be taught, where in all the fundamental teachings and the basic morality of all faiths brought together and is taught, and this is how the transformation of mind and the mindset of the children and the kids could happen.
Right.
I would urge through your platform that after having so much of experience in terrorism,
Right.
and so much suffered in terms of human loss, innocent loss, and so forth. And so it is time that the government should involve the primary educators of this country, work on a curriculum component which teaches children about at least the basics of all faiths. That is one thing which I would like to say. And to conclude, I will say that at the local level means the localities in which we live,
Right.
the surroundings where we move, the institutions in which we are working. You know, by and large, our entire structure is a cosmopolitan structure.
Yes, it is.
Wherever we are,
Right.
we should talk about these issues with each other.
Right.
And there I see the maximum and the primary role of the teaching community.
Okay.
The teachers of the country
Right.
are yet to play their final role in bringing the required transformation that India needs today on the front of interfaith understanding, communal harmony, and so on and so forth. The national integration will come on the ground only when the teachers, educational institutions, educators go extra active in promoting these areas, because if we fail to bring peace and harmony on ground, whatever development we go for, I think we will be much away from the goal of Vishwa Guru, as we talk about most of the times.
Very interesting, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Khwaja Sahab and Ma'am Dr. Mobeen Zehra, for taking the time and sharing your invaluable insights.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for today on Awaz the Voice. We'll be back soon with another thought-provoking discussion. Till then, goodbye from the Matrix team.